So in all this discussion, I want to ask this: that do you understand these terms, scaling and translation? What is scaling and what is translation? It is written here. If any one of you can explain me scaling and translation in terms of some practical example, please come up with that. Here, C and K are constants. They do not have any meaning. Okay, C and K are any random arbitrary constants.
So scaling can help if we, for example, represent multiple data in a one like pictorial graph or something. So it can help studying relative correlation or something like that.
Okay, no, the thing here is, I don't want you to give you an example or the application of translation scaling. Rather, give me a real world example of translation and scaling. Uh, how in real world would translation scaling work? Or how can we achieve scaling and translation in real world? Why we would need to translate or scale our data? Let me rephrase the question. Any scenario where we will need to do that?
So zooming and scrolling.
Zooming and scrolling. Alright, that is again exactly rescaling and translation in the context of images or computer graphics. But the thing is, in terms of data, let's say you are collecting some data, and in the context of data, I want to talk about translation scale. Okay, let me give you the example. Let's say we went ahead and we took body temperatures of two different classes. Let's say again class 4 and class 11. Okay, but the thermometer that we use for class 4, let's say when we are talking about class 4, the thermometer that we use gave us readings in degrees centigrades. All right. Whereas when we took the temperatures for class 11, it gave us degrees in units that were used by the recording team were Fahrenheit. All right. So now, if we want to merge these two data sets and want to plot them on one axis, one given scale, what we'll have to do?
Translate and scale that into another.
Yes, we'll have to perform translations and scaling. All right. Similarly, so that was just one example. So whenever we will have data elements that may have different units, all right. In those cases, we may have to perform translation and scaling on that data before processing that data further. All right, that is just one example. Let me take another example. That when you were taking the temperatures of class 4, you took readings of 100 students, and after that, you realize that thermometer you are using is not calibrated well enough and gives you a reading which is plus 2 degrees centigrade, 2 degrees more than the actual value. So now what would you do? You can translate the already recorded data and then recalibrate your thermometer. All right. Similarly, there could be another case where there are two different thermometers. One is calibrated in a different way, another is calibrated in a different way. But after collecting the data, you will like measure the difference between the readings of those two thermometers in a standardized environment, and then you will translate it back. That could be also the case. So the other case is when the recording device, the recording mechanism has some discrepancy, has some variation. In those cases, we will have to use translation. And again, for scaling, we may have to use scaling to make our data significant. For example, let's say you noted the heights of students in any particular class, and you got the data in terms of, let's say, millimeters. All right. uh, somehow they recorded the heights of students in millimeters. So what would that mean? That the readings would be somewhat like this 1400 mm or something like that. All right. But let's say the application that you are trying to execute does not support such large numbers, or maybe you do not have enough memories to, let's say, this particular data set has 1 million entries in it. That would mean, let's say that if this single number takes 32 bits of memory, you will require 32 megabits of memory, and you may not have that much memory to load that memory data into your memory. Then what would you do? You will scale this data into centimeters or meters, depending upon again this time space trade off that we always talk about. Because if you go up to meters, it is possible that you will get some floating point numbers, and then you will have to do floating point operations that will take more time. So there's always this time space trade off. But in this case, we'll have to do scaling of the data to work out with our the computer or the algorithm or the processing that we want. Fine. So now that you've understood translation and scaling, what I want you to do is afterwards, after this class, take any random data elements. Okay? Take any random data elements, take 5 numbers, 10 numbers, and on those 10 numbers, first try to find their mean and standard deviation. After scale them by a factor of 2, 3, or whatsoever. Do the scaling. After scaling, calculate the mean and standard deviation again. Then, on the original data set, do translation, calculate mean and standard deviation, and then tell me that what was the impact of translation and scaling on mean and standard deviation. All right, we can also derive that from these formulas here, but I still want you to do this numerical exercise to make these concepts more clear to you. And that was equally true of median and interquartile range also as well. If you want to experiment with them, you can experiment with them also. All right. So just do this after this class today in the evening whenever you